This video is brought to you by Iona, North America's premier charging network. With unmatched commitment to elevating the customer experience, Iona is opening America's roads to all EVs, giving drivers the coverage they need, the reliability they deserve, and the amenities they crave. This video is also brought to you by Eaton. Eaton is a one-stop shop for implementing reliable and innovative EV charging infrastructure at your site. Across all applications, Eaton's EV charging infrastructure, hardware and software gives you the scalability, flexibility, and intelligence you need to charge today and scale up tomorrow. Learn more at eaton.com/EVCI.
Hello and welcome to the Rivian Space in Denver, Colorado. Apparently this Rivian Space is one that garners some of the most foot traffic in the country, a lot of interest in Rivian products, which makes sense because I see them literally every time I go drive, even down the street to my neighbor's house. They're very popular in Colorado. And today we are finding out what is underneath this cover here. It is apparently the California Dune Edition, and that's what we're here to film and find out what all that entails, what it includes. Rivian actually teased on their social media about a week ago an ambiguous photo seen through a gear tunnel of just a California dune. And some people were speculating, actually everyone was speculating, what does this mean? Is the package a trim level, just a new paint color, which they do have pretty sweet paint colors. So I'm excited to see whatever paint color is on this. But I think it's more than just the paint. In fact, we can even see a glimpse of the wheel down there. But that's all they've shown us so far. So let's jump right in and see what is the California Dune Edition. Okay, so the cover has been lifted and now we can see the California Dune Edition in all of its glory. And we can see Coleton. He was under the cover too.
Hello.
Coleton, our, of course, adventurous detailer. You've done quite a few Rivians.
Tons of Rivians. Spent a ton of time, Gen 1s, Gen 2s,
Right.
all of them, Ts and Ss. This looks pretty sweet though.
Yeah, so initial first impressions, I mean, obviously the color, which is somewhat not of a color. It's just very, very, very light. When I think of sand, I don't really think of this tone. What do you think of the color itself?
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. It just looks more like a cream, kind of like a latte type color, I would say almost. Interesting, the paint has no metallic in this. I expected the color to be called sandstone because the wheels optioned color you can get on these are called sandstone,
Right.
The interior sandstone. And this is California Dune is the official paint name of this. What do you think?
Yeah, it's very, very pale and not even that warm. It's actually, like you said, a cream, but like cream is usually associated with really warm tones.
Yeah.
This, in this lighting at least, looks very neutral, even a little bit cool, which is interesting. But I actually really like it. I haven't seen like, usually I see a color and I'm like, oh, it's like that other color on that other car. I haven't seen a car like exactly with this color tone. So I'm really curious to see how it looks also on the configurator on the website because we're filming this before that was even really live. But as you mentioned, there is a cool new wheel design. The color sandstone wheel that I wanted to see isn't on this truck, unfortunately, but this has the dark wheel, which is, I guess we'll go around that side, 20-inch. So they have 20-inch dark or sandstone in this new cool design.
Yeah, love the design.
I think if I had any other Rivian, I'd look for a wheel like this now. And I wonder if you could actually buy these.
I don't think so because these are very limited edition, Jordan.
Right, so this California Dune Edition is limited to 1,000 models, and that's split between R1T and R1S. And then when you break it down to which wheels people are going to choose, like I'm really curious how those sales figures are going to work, but you could end up with like a 1 of 100 built to that spec vehicle, which all the cars and coffee people are going to love. They're going to bring their sandwich boards out and be like, look, this is 1 of 177. I wonder if Rivian will share those numbers too.
That'll be interesting. I really think a lot of people probably go for this kind of gray toned wheel.
Yeah.
Because the other ones are kind of bright. They're kind of bold.
And I'm the guy who likes the white wheel look.
Yes,
but
same.
I think these will be more popular, which makes sense. That's a safer bet. What's also included, this is not just a thrown-on accessory. This is actually part of the California Dune Edition, and it's Max Tracks in black, along with the black crossbars. You can, of course, get silver or whatever bright crossbars, but with the California Dune Edition, that's how it's actually spec'd from the factory, which is kind of cool.
Yep.
Max tracks can be really nifty in the sand. And one other thing I want to mention is this new tonneau cover. I think they've had like, what, 3 versions of the tonneau cover?
I definitely think 3 revisions.
So is this V4? I'm not sure, but finally it looks different. So maybe they've figured it out. This is the tonneau cover now, very thin, small slats. And if I open it, we can find out just how quiet it is.
So much better. You don't have that big clunk when it goes in. There is still quite a bit of pulsation in that as it's going in, but definitely looks a lot smoother, because beforehand they had the large slats that I believe what they were doing were actually stacking on top of each other essentially back here, and had a lot of those break.
It was cool to see it work, but I see why it broke, because even when Kyle's truck was brand new, he had one of the early Rivian R1Ts with the early tonneau cover. For a while they didn't even have the tonneau covers on them because they couldn't figure it out, but his sounded like it was broken from day one. This is comparable to Cybertruck even. I mean, Cybertruck also has much thinner slats. So I'm glad to see this actually working. I wonder if it's changed like the storage area of the slats. Like I wonder if that's any slimmer. Did you gain a 1/2 inch of bedroom? I'm not really sure. I
don't think so, because this, to me, what I'm assuming they're doing is actually kind of coiling it up inside, very similar to Cybertruck, how low they have that. This is a much better design. I'm surprised they didn't go with something like this from the start.
Right.
Could have been in packaging, so they may have had to find some more room in there. But
now it's much smoother. Still a little bit of jitter, as we could hear. But
I wouldn't say it's bad, though, at all.
Totally fine. Otherwise, not much different. Like, as far as a special edition goes, the exterior, we've pretty much covered it.
The only other thing it has is the dark out pack on it. So that goes along with the black Max tracks up there, as well as the black crossbars, which I think looks nice. I always think if you're going to get a Rivian, you have to go the dark black out pack. Yeah. It just looks so much nicer.
I agree. It just works. It's the adventure spec. So we should look at the interior now, because that's where there's a lot more changes, I think. And Isaiah over on the Out of Spec podcast done a whole podcast showing a lot of the press photos of the interior, of course. But this is a new interior spec. It's 2-tone. If you look inside there, it's actually sandstone kind of at the bottom, and then dark mountain.
Black mountain up top.
At the top. So another combo of colors, I guess. I really like the 2-tone effect. And Coleton even had beef with the previous steering wheels, if I'm not mistaken.
Always had beef with them. Because the Black Mountain steering wheel always had a black leather airbag cover. When you would get Ocean Coast, it would be bright white. And to me, it's just like sitting in the truck, it just looks out of place to me. And this one finally has a lighter colored interior with a black central steering wheel cover, which looks so much better in my opinion.
And while you're in there, Timon, you can see this special new badge right here, which says California Dune. So that's one other way to show it. And on the screen, it of course also shows the truck. They actually have it in soft stand mode right now. But I guess if we go back out to, well, I guess that's all. Yeah, since it's in the soft stand mode, that's what it looks like. It's interesting to me that they rendered the truck with the appropriate wheels, but not with the crossbars and Max tracks on top.
That's a good point.
I don't know why they didn't do that, because that's how this truck does come. I guess we should also talk about the spec. This is a tri-motor variant, so 800 and something horsepower. 850 horsepower, like 900 something pound-feet of torque.
Over 1,000 pound-feet of torque. Crazy numbers.
Ridiculous. 2.9 seconds 0 to 60, 329 miles EPA range. It will be fun if one of you who gets one of the 1,000 trucks, or SUVs, both actually, we do want to test it. We do want to see how efficient these wheels are. Or if we can just borrow your wheels, honestly. I'm really curious to see.
Or we'll buy them for Kyle's truck.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how these wheels fare compared to like the new Aero wheel or any of the outgoing wheels. Because this is my new favorite, like just instantly. I do like how interesting the new Aero wheel looks, but having an option that's lighter color is really intriguing.
And with an off-road tire, not a road tire. Right, yeah. A big deal.
Because these are 20s. They didn't come with the 22s or even 21s. Same story in the back. And this is also a good way to look at the new floor mats. They are, what do they call the material?
Chili Witch. I believe these are actually the same exact floor mats that used to come in early R1Ts.
But it's a new color. That's it.
Okay. So The only one you would get with this color was, I believe, Ocean Coast or similar to it. It was like a white. These are actually really cool. If you've ever sat in like patio chairs that are like weatherproof, that's essentially what these are.
Yeah.
What they claim with this is if you're out in the dunes, you bring sand inside, you just dump them out. So those are actually pretty cool mats. I'm a big fan of these.
Yeah. So that's mostly what this is. I mean,
It's not a huge,
it's not
huge
a huge
thing.
update. It feels like just them giving a tease of something, because we're in this lull period where they've already introduced Gen 2 R1T and R1S, and we're still waiting for another possibly 10 to 11 months until we have R2 start deliveries. I've heard it is relatively on schedule, so like we could actually see it around the turn of the year, but until then, I was curious what they would do with this year, calendar year 2025. I almost said 24, but 25, because it's like you kind of need something to keep the press flowing. You need some sort of special edition. I wonder if this is the only special edition they'll do this year, or what else will they do this year to bring more interest. You can always use over-the-air updates to bring more interest, and they have done that as well. They did some holiday stuff. Tesla has always done that as well. So do you think there's anything else they would do?
I don't know with Rivian. I mean, I'm honestly surprised that they came out with a special edition. That's new to them. So yeah, a limited run. Asking a pretty decent price point for these. So $99,000 for the truck, $105,000 I believe it to be for the R1S.
Yeah.
Which again, I wish we could have seen here today, but nonetheless, not too bad.
Yeah, so I had to find an R1S. Like this will be a special edition that I'm excited about seeing on the road. I mean, even every time I see a Toyota FJ, for example, out driving around, if you see it with a roof that is body color matched to the body, that's a special edition. I get excited about that. Like, and seeing this unique, what will be a rare color, because they do sell a lot of Rivians, especially in Colorado. So they won't be common to see. It's kind of like when I see a launch green one. I'm like, hey, enthusiast.
Or Compass Yellow.
Or Compass Yellow, which is still my favorite color.
Timon doesn't like it behind
the camera. But that's still my favorite. But otherwise, this is pretty simple. I do love seeing the interior and exterior just matching really nicely.
Look really good.
That looks really good to me. Someone said I should have done mint seats in my Model 3. That's a terrible idea.
Can I say one thing I am slightly disappointed about the interior, though?
What's that?
This doesn't get the full Ascend interior. Yeah,
right.
The door handles.
Yeah, so this is basically a modified adventure interior.
Yes.
Forget the terminology, but the Ascend interior is what usually comes on the tri-motor and probably quad motor. Like, it's like the nicer interior, which you've done some build quality analysis on on stuff. But
I mean, this R1S has it over here. This is like their, really nice, expensive, trimmed one. But the one thing that I think is weird on this is like the headliner isn't the really premium, nice material. This is something that you find in kind of lower tiered vehicles, in my opinion.
Yeah, it does. It feels more of the, I hate to say rental car spec, but
it really is.
It does feel just like the cheaper, maybe more durable and easy to clean, but even then, I don't know. It still feels very porous.
I prefer the micro suede.
We should
all
go
day.
look at the Ascend
So
interior.
even the door panel here, like you lose a lot of the stitching down here. So notice how this has no stitching in it.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of a fabric material. If you come over here to the R1S, this is quite a bit different. Now this is, of course, the storm blue interior, but you can see lots more stitching here. This all has stitching. And then, of course, the really, really nice headliner on that.
Yeah, it feels nice, looks nice. You can see the difference in the floor mats as well. It's nice to have these vehicles side by side.
Yes.
But you're right. This looks and feels more premium, but I could see how it is less durable.
Yeah.
And sand, especially anything sand could get into, would get annoying. And so that one being more rugged makes sense. But then, I don't know, I'd be really curious to try more of the tri-motor on sand off-road, because having just driven like Ioniq 5 XRT doesn't have the Ioniq 5 in powertrain. It doesn't need the power because it's hard enough to put the power down on sand anyways.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like the dual motor with the performance boost would be bad on sand. But I am wondering how the traction control variation with tri-motor, like we got to get some tri-motor out on the sand and see how that works. But we were impressed with the quad motor, Kyle's quad motor on sand. So maybe it's fine. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's California Dune Edition. Not a lot to talk about. But the tonneau, I think, is actually one of the best things. And I'm guessing that'll be rolling to all the other trucks. It's just like maybe lumped into this announcement.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything else on this. I knew that they were actually redesigning one. I didn't expect them to go to this. I think this is a bigger deal than most people actually think. I have personally broken many tonneau covers by simply pressing the button and they self-destruct as they're going in the truck.
Right, and then you feel like you've done it, but it's really just it imploded. So yeah, maybe the title of this video is New Tonneau Cover. And also wheels and paint and interior. And I do love the two-tone. I've always liked the two-tone mentality of the interiors, but this is like a very black and white yin-yang vibe two-tone. So I'm looking forward to seeing the California Dune Edition R1S, because that's a lot more paint to look at in this color.
Yep.
And also the sandstone colored wheel, the light variant, because I'm a light wheel guy. A lot of people wish I had dark black wheels on my Model 3, but I don't know.
I do.
I like silver. I know. Everyone does, but maybe I'll just put white on the white wheels. That'd be sick. Anyways, let us know what you think of the California Dune Edition. Is it impressive? Is it what you expected when you saw that social media post that Rivian teased a week or so ago? Or are you let down? And do you think there's much more that they're going to show off this year? Because like I said, it is a lull year between things. Will they announce another vehicle? Will they mention anything else about R2, R3, R3X? Of course, they're doing the van deliveries now, I guess, which are technically still commercial, but I think Kyle was like, well, I'm a business of one. Can I just get one? And then
I want one too for a mobile detailing van. It'd be sick.
It could work. And that would be a sick mobile detailing
Yeah.
van. A lot of people were like, oh, it'd be cool to like convert them into a camper. But like, honestly, they don't have the range and charging to be a compelling camper. Mercedes might be the better bet for that. But we'll see. If they chuck a 144 kilowatt hour battery in that van, everyone in Boulder will buy it, convert it, sleep in it. Yeah. So there you go. California Dune Edition, Rivian R1T. We'll see you next one very soon. Bye. Guys, come here. There's actually one more thing we missed completely. Big deal. Actually, it is. I actually really like this.
This is really cool. So Chili Witch mats in here still, but we forgot to mention there's no carpets in this. So under here, you basically have this, I don't even know how you describe this, and they actually don't have a real name for it, but it's like a textured plastic, so you're going to be easily able to vacuum up sand, things like that. It's not going to get into the pores of the carpet.
It's
Love
like
that.
having a built-in all-weather floor mat as your entire, it's just an all-weather floor, which I wish a lot of other cars have.
Wonder if you can pressure wash this out.
Let's try it.